Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome John the Music Nut to the show. Tonight we are going to take a look at our top 10 favorite tracks from 1967. So without any further ado, let's get this one started. Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and I want to welcome John the Music Nut here tonight. John, how are you? Nice to see you. We are live, kids, by the way. We are live.
Yes, sir.
And we are going to talk our favorite tracks from 1967. This was John's idea. He threw this out, and I went, hey, who doesn't want to talk about 1967?
That's
1966, 1967 are my two favorite music years. I don't know about you, John, but there was so much that we could choose on this show for tonight.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this just scrapes just the surface, you know. So how are you? It's nice to see you. What's new?
Oh, I'm doing great, Grant. Thank you all for having me on. Thank you so much for having me on, for going with the 1967 topic.
Mm-hmm.
This is my definite favorite year in music. Hello, Brian. Good evening. And
PM Bolt.
Oh, Byron.
Byron, how's it going?
The Thunder, that's Byron Bolt.
Brown shoes don't make it. Well, sorry, Byron, but brown shoes didn't make my list. Though it's great.
I thought about it, but it's not on mine either. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one here. Hi, Brian McFadden. Good evening.
Yeah, Brian, how are you?
I love coming on this show. Oh, that's maybe, I don't know. I do quite.
I've got the box. Though. There's like several Simon and Garfunkel box sets. I didn't choose any Simon and Garfunkel, though I could have. And I don't know about you, John, but my list could change. If we did this tomorrow, it might change. This is going to be my list for today.
Mine too. Yeah, like I came up with my list pretty quickly, but I had like a ton of. I grabbed from about a list of 25. Hello, DC Tune Time.
What's up, Daryl? How are you? Yeah.
By the way, DC, I've never spoken to you, but I love your comments on Grant's chats here. I mean, just want to let you know I'm a fan, even though we've never spoken.
There you go.
Yep, I'm kissing some butt already. But
no, we're all a big community over here.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about.
Contrarians, we're all one happy family.
We certainly are. We're all a little different, but our foundations are very similar. I mean, it's just great to be a part of it.
I didn't choose any Motown stuff, but I could have. But don't forget, 1967. Think about this, John. It's so vast.
Yes, sir, it is.
I mean, like I said, I didn't choose any Zappa, but you know, I love, like, We're Only in It for the Money. I love that. Is that 68 though?
That's 67.
Absolutely Free 67.
Absolutely Free. Oh wait, you're right. I think Absolutely Free might be 67, and We're Only in It for the Money 68, and I think Freak Out was 66.
Yeah. Ooh, Tuesday Afternoon's a good one.
Oh,
I didn't choose that, but that's good.
Omaha, bringing it. I love it.
Yeah, 69, Brian. 69 was good too, though.
There was a song by that band I was thinking about, but I didn't put it on my list, just to let y'all know that. So yeah, like Grant said, a lot of variety from this year. I was actually considering a couple jazz songs, but I didn't know if I could go quite top 10 on those. So those I can mention later on. But Nick Esquire.
Nick Esquire, look at him.
Oh,
making an appearance. You don't get Nick Esquire here that often.
He comes out for the good ones.
He does come out for the good ones.
That's why you gotta love Nick.
I had to contain my choices to 10 out of the top 100 singles. Just so much awesome material. I kind of went all over. I looked at album tracks, and I did look at some single tracks, but a lot of the tracks that I really love were on albums. So, but we'll see. There are certain songs that I have to mention. And they could be on an album. They could be a single, you know.
Same boat
here. And Glenn Campbell.
Oh God, you guys are bringing it already.
Better late about time, Ernesto.
Hello,
Waiting.
Ernesto.
I was looking at the
Welcome.
time, but I had to start the show without you. Everybody's showing up tonight. Yeah, well, I guess Tuesday's the night.
It's Wednesday.
Oh, I don't even know what day it is. What's up, guys? Ernesto,
Tuesday, I
there he
probably
is.
wouldn't be able to make it.
Brian McFadden, Miles
No,
Davis.
Ryan, you're reading my mind when I was talking about a minute ago. That's right.
What do you mean you bought a stack of 45s in mint condition? What do you
Oh,
mean?
good for you.
Recently?
Good for you, brother.
Look at you.
I love it.
I know. I've got a lot of my old 45s in there.
Nice.
Well, John, I guess we can start.
All
Now, I
right.
have my graphics right. This is really poor planning, as a host. I really dropped the ball because I have graphics already made for mine, so I don't have to hold anything up. But John's going to hold up his props. So
Yes,
you're going to
sir.
have to forgive us for that because I should have got John's list and I could have I'm just some guy. That's
Down
all.
the road. Down
Yeah,
the road.
down the road.
We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff in the chamber right now.
Yeah, DC he likes the Cal Sills and Glenn Campbell. Yeah, I know. Bought Herb oh nice.
Ooh, nice.
A lot of those Herb Alpert albums, Dollar City, probably still for $1. All right. Well, I'm
True.
gonna let John the Music Nut go first, and we'll just go back and forth. I'm not even sure I'm gonna rank mine. I pulled them. I'm just gonna wing it. And we'll just go from there. So, John, what is your number 10?
All right. Thank you so much, Grant. And we're going to go psychedelic for the first one. Now,
Yes.
this band has had a long and storied career, different eras of the band, you could certainly say. But you put a gun to my head and you say, what's my favorite album by this
Mhm.
band? I'm going to say it's their debut. So the band is Pink Floyd,
Yeah.
and the album is Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And the track I'm going to choose is the opening track, Astronomy Domini,
Yeah.
which I believe Domini is how you say it. This, I mean,
A tour de
revisiting this,
force.
oh my gosh, yeah, revisiting this album today, I'm still getting that same feeling from hearing that song like it did back in the day. This is one of the great songs of the psychedelic era. I love the dual vocals going on. I love the instrumentation on it. I love some of the bass lines after the vocal. It's
Mhm.
an excellent track. I mean, it's just this song really takes you in. This is an album. I mean, it's a bit of an acquired taste if you got into Pink Floyd later with Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here and Animals on the Wall. But I really loved when Sid Barrett was the leader.
Yeah.
This whole, there's several tracks I could have picked from this album, but Astronomy Domini is my number 10. I love this track immensely.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Golly. What a way to start it out. Yeah, that could be even up higher. Have you heard the version on Ummagumma, the live version? What's that, 69? I mean, that's incredible too.
It absolutely is. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I have heard it. I do have
Yeah.
a copy of it here
In the
in the
archives?
in the archives.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, well, let's see. What am I gonna go with? Let me see. All right, I know what I'm gonna go with.
All right.
Let me change the order so I don't screw myself up. All right, we are gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Monkees.
Ooh.
Now, I love the Monkees. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I do. Um, and I'm going off the Headquarters album. The song I'm picking is the Peter Tork song, For Pete's Sake, that he wrote. If anybody knows the Monkees television show, For Pete's Sake is the song that closed the second season.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, Mickey Dolenz is singing. It's got Michael Nesmith guitar part on it. I think what does Pete Price playing keyboards on it? I think, but I've always loved the song since I was a kid. Um, this record came out in May of '67, so this is right before Sergeant Pepper came out. So, And this was the album where they got Chip Douglas as a producer, and this is where they did everything themselves in the studio. So it wasn't Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart supplying everything.
Right.
This was the Monkees being the Monkees in the studio themselves, and
Correct.
they still had outside writers for some of it. You know, we had Nesmith and Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz supplying songs, but there are other great Monkees songs in 1967. But I'm going to go for the album track, the closer from 1967 television show, For Pete's Sake. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Love Mickey Dolenz's vocal performance on it, and it's catchy. That Peter Tork was a talented guy. So that's
Absolutely.
my number 10.
Sweet.
But it's not necessarily 10, but I'll put it
Yeah.
at 10. You know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Great choice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Now I'm going to go a little deeper with my number 9. Now, this is an album that's very critically acclaimed, and I think you might have just saw it when I grabbed it here. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
well,
he could have mentioned Bike too, though.
Well, yeah, I trust me, I thought of that one too. But this is a band. They got more of a cult following, although this album is very highly regarded. They were a little ahead of their time, even for this period. This was their 3rd album. They did 3 albums with the original lineup. And for all of you musicologists and music junkies out there, I believe you're going to recognize this bad boy when I show it right now.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Love.
Is that the deluxe version? Is that that's the second disc I think Steve Hoffman mastered?
This
great. Yeah, that's the 2 CD set. Yeah.
Mine doesn't have 2 CDs, but I do have 7 bonus tracks on it.
Okay.
Yeah. But the track that I'm going to pick is going to take me about 30 seconds to say it. Here we go. Maybe the people would be the times or between Clark and Hilldale. Good thing this wasn't released as a single, but wow, what a catchy song. This song, I love the horn lines in it. I love the call and response between Albert Lee's vocals and the horn lines. This is a 3-minute 30-second song, but it's very intense. I love the congas and the drums on it. And there's a very melodic guitar solo in here as well. Like Piper the Gates of Dawn, I could have picked Alone Again Or, which is the biggest song on here, which was later covered by UFO. And I love the Daily Planet, and You Set the Scene I love as well. But I'm definitely going to go with Maybe the People Would Be the Times or Between Clark and Hilldale as my number 9. Excellent track. If you never heard it, definitely check it out. There is a live version of this from a performance on a TV show that's on the Scottish TV channel, which was a channel that Nick Esquire introduced me to.
Nick Esquire.
So, yes, sir. So there we go. Love.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Sound Lab Studios. So you've got the Hair Quarters bearded cover. You know the bearded cover. You ever hear about that? The bearded cover of the Monkees headquarters. That came out like in the late 60s after, I don't know if that was just on the stereo version, but like in 69 when they were doing all the reruns. It's the second pressing of, I think, the headquarters, and they put the picture of the Monkees with beards on the back.
Nice.
But yeah, you don't find many beards covers around. So wait a minute. Let me see what Byron said. John Mayall, The Supernatural. Byron, the guitar on that like killer. Wasn't like Peter? I think so. I'd have to listen to it again.
Oh, with those two juggernauts? Holy crap.
Oh, I hear my dog barking. Anyway, that Love, great underrated record. Love probably would be one of those bands that would use a definite show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Beards covers, but it says RE2, so it's a second press. I think those came out in 69. If I'm not, I think it's 69 is when those came out. Anyway, Love, I think almost could use, you could almost do a whole show on Love, I think.
I agree, especially those first 3 albums with the original lineup. Oh my gosh, excellent.
I've got a copy of the fourth album, a sealed copy of the fourth record, original pressing that's never been opened.
Oh, nice.
Still sealed.
Excellent. That's
All
awesome.
right. So let me go to my number 9. Thank you for that. That was great. And
You're
like I said,
welcome.
I don't know if this is really my number 9, but was going to be on the list. But you look at some of these songs and they're just so iconic that they have to rate higher. But this is an album track. We can't see it. See, that was a fail, John.
Yeah,
I'm
but you know
going.
what? I was looking at this album.
So the Byrds Renaissance Fair that's on Younger Than Yesterday, 1967. If anybody heard, this is a Dave Crosby song, and he wrote it about the Renaissance Fair that they used to have in LA, and I guess over the years it had become run down. I don't know. I'm not even sure if they do a Renaissance Fair in LA. If we only had Stephen Schnee here, we would be able to tell. But it's haunting. The Rickenbacker 12 string on this song, it's just there's something about this song. There's something about the production of 1967, 1966. It's almost haunting. The Byrds vocals, the blend of McGuinn and Hillman and Crosby, just incredible.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite songs on the record. Even though Younger Than Yesterday, I will go on record to saying is probably my favorite Byrds album, even though there's no Gene Clark.
Right.
But the Rickenbacker 12 string on this just absolutely is stunning.
Sweet.
Love Renaissance Fair. Beautiful, highly recommended. That's my number 9. And believe me, I'm not choosing all album tracks, but we've got some on here, but it's a great track. Oh, Rich.
Absolutely.
Everybody's Been Burned. Another one.
Mm,
Oh my God, great.
nice.
Kinks Chronicles. That's a great.
Bringing it.
That's really reaching back.
Bringing it. I love it.
So anyway, yeah, that's my number 9.
Excellent choice.
Byrds. Love the
Nice.
Byrds. One of my favorites.
It's a very good album.
All right. You're up.
Go. Number 8. This is an album. It's another one. Very highly regarded, cult following. I think it took 10 years to go gold. By one of my favorite songwriters. Well, he wrote the vast majority of songs with this band. And you'll know this band by the cover too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is the Velvet Underground and Nico. And the song I'm going to choose is the very often covered Femme Fatale. It's one of the 3 tracks on here with Nico on vocals. This song is so angelic. I think this could have been a single on AM radio because, her voice maybe would have been a little jarring for 1967 on an AM radio format.
Maybe.
But as far as it musically, it is a wonderful song. Fantastic track. Most of the tracks on here are kind of, on the harder side, the more rawer side. But this track, Femme Fatale, which is, like I said, it's been done by many bands, but the REM version I love so much. I didn't read that before I said it either. Well played, Byron.
Byron's all over it tonight.
He is all over it.
He is.
But, yeah, again, this is an album you could have chosen several from here. And you all know the great songs on this album, but I'm going to go with Femme Fatale by the Velvet Underground, which is one of the most highly regarded albums in the history of rock music. Although I love the second album too, also from 1967, White Light, White Heat. Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Albert King, look at Ernesto tonight. Oh, look at that. Yeah, yes, that's a good one. I didn't mention that.
Nice.
Even King Crimson didn't happen to 69. Yeah, you always think that King Crimson was earlier, but no, they didn't happen until 69. All right, that's a good choice.
Thank you so much, Grant.
I think I've got some extras in here. So I'm kind of picking and choosing. All right, this is my next one.
All right.
This is a single, though it was on an album, and I will show a picture of the album. Uh, this was released May 67. Um, and I think this is the thing. Am I right? The lead vocals were sung by a friend of the band. So the guy came in as a visitor and they ended up using him as the vocalist on it. So the guy singing is not even a member of the band. And if you listen to the record, nothing really sounds like this song. But this song is iconic. The production is great. This screams psychedelia. This screams 1967. We're going with the Strawberry Alarm Clock, Incense and
Oh,
Peppermints.
whee!
Yeah, great, phenomenal. But there is nothing quite like this track on the album. You know?
I
Eh,
didn't know that just some guy came in to
yeah,
sing that lead. I had no idea. And honestly, it's the only song I know by them.
yeah. He
I
was just
never heard the album.
the guy was just attending the recording sessions as a visitor.
Okay.
And so the rest of the band
Nice.
just did the backgrounds on it, and I don't know.
It's an excellent choice. One of the
Uh,
best singles, best psychedelic singles ever, right there.
it is. I'm trying to see how it did on the charts.
That
Chart
number one,
performance.
that was the number one hit.
It went Billboard Hot 100. It got to 23. It got to 43 in Canada. Oh yeah. You're right. It got to number one on
Yeah,
the
that was the
top
number one hit.
100.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You can't deny it. Very psychedelic. If I really think psychedelic, this is the number one track that comes to mind is Incense and Peppermints.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just is what it is.
Excellent.
All right. So, what's your next one?
All right, now it's my turn to pick a hit single.
All right.
Now, this isn't the original album. I'm gonna have a couple here where their greatest hits albums. They were by bands that were more known for their singles, and this certainly was one. These guys had some bite to their sound. They were more of a studio band. Oh yes, that's true, Rich. I never thought about that, but I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I don't want to interrupt John the music nut, but I saw the
Oh, good.
Laws play on the OSU campus when that album came out. There were 20 people in the audience.
Wow.
And the band was kicking around a soccer ball in front of the Newport. And there was a Skyline Chili like next door. And they were playing in front of the Skyline Chili kicking the soccer ball. No one knew who they were.
Hmm.
But man, there are only like 20, 25 people in the crowd to see the Laws. Sad.
Crazy. Holy.
Yep.
But the band I'm going to go with, uh, um,
I don't know
I'm
what
not
Brian's talking about. Well, they didn't give Ed King co-writing credit on Incense and Peppermints. There's a little bit of controversy with that song,
right.
but it is a good one.
So the band I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
is the Grassroots.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. And the song I'm going to go with is Let's Live for Today.
Great song.
Wonderful track. There's so many good hooks on here. You got that kind of like an Indian guitar sound on there,
Mhm.
almost like a
It's
sitar.
probably a sitar.
Yeah.
I think it is a sitar. Yeah.
There you go. Probably the biggest hit with a sitar. Well, that and Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. But yeah, this is an excellent song. I love the vocal. I love the harmonies in this as well. Very easy chorus to remember. And then it kind of picks up and it goes into that "Give Me Some Lovin'" part, and then it gets faster and faster, and it goes
Yeah.
to dun 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 dun. It goes right back into the chorus again. This band they were a treasure. They had a lot of very good songs. Some of them that really rocked it even got on your FM stations like
Mm-hmm.
Wait a Million Years, and Midnight Confessions was a huge hit. Temptation Eyes, but Let's Live for Today. I mean, I think that song out of all of them really screams the the psychedelic that era. Not so much as a psychedelic song, but that era from 1967, the Summer of Love. I think Let's Live for Today, I think, is a very good illustration of that era. So That's my number 7. Grassroots. Let's live for today.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Grassroots had huge string of solid singles throughout the 60s. Yeah, they are primarily a singles band, even though they put albums out, but I only remember them as a singles band pretty much.
Me too.
Yeah. Huge. They were huge. And there's
Nice.
Stephen. We saw Stephen Schnee. Welcome, Stephen Schnee. His
Hi,
ears are
Stephen
probably
Schnee.
burning.
Oh,
Hey, Schnee, are you still around? Do they still do the Renaissance Fair in LA like they did in the 60s? Huge. Why? They're from Glendale.
Rand, welcome.
Yeah, Rand's here.
Sorry I'm yelling so much, but I'm just excited.
He's excited.
I am excited.
Fleetwood Mac
I
playing
love to
Black
do
Magic
this.
Woman. That's good. That's a good
Sweet.
one, Brian.
No doubts.
That's good. All right. What am I going to pick?
Yeah. What's your number 7 there, Grant?
Well, there are 7. I guess I don't have too many. Oh, I've got kind of few backups. All right, I'm going to choose this. God, this is such a great song, but if I don't choose it, I'm going to choose it. Oh, I just screwed up again. All right, I'm going to go with The Doors' Light My Fire. This was recorded in 66, but it didn't come out till I think January 67.
Yes.
But again, all this era, I keep mentioning the sound. There's something about the sound of Light My Fire. And the fact that having a brain crisis, I'm not looking at any notes. Robbie Krieger. This is like the first song Robbie Krieger wrote.
Yes, it is.
And can you imagine writing such a great song? Holy crap.
Yeah.
But when I think 1967, I mentioned Incense and Peppermints, but this too had this iconic sound quality. It's just thick, it's deep, it's reverb ridden. It's just, I don't know. There's something about the sound that I like. And you've got that Vox Continental organ sound. I love that too. A lot of people kind of look at that sound and think it's kind of dated, but no. If you didn't have that Vox Continental on there, it just wouldn't be the same. It just screams 1966, 1967. Classic. This is one of those songs that I can put on and I can listen to it over and over again. I don't know about you, John, but I think it's phenomenal. Yeah, it was a single. I mean, Jim Morrison didn't have much to do with it. He sang it, but it's just a classic Doors song, you know?
Yeah, 7
it's
minutes. It's
iconic. Like DC says, it's, yeah. Wait a minute. We got props. You guys really did your homework. This is extremely difficult when reduced to 10.
Thank you, DC.
Thanks, DC. But like I said, my list could change. And I know John's list could change. It's impossible to talk about pick your 10 tracks from 1967. You know?
Absolutely.
It's happening soon. So they're still doing it. Oh, wait a minute. We've got so many things we're running. Hang on. We got to go through some of the things.
All right.
So of course they do.
Thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah, geez. I didn't know it was going to be so popular. John Prine's 1967. Number one in
was 72 or 71, wasn't it?
Brian? I don't know.
I think his debut was 71.
All right, Brian, come back and let us know.
Yeah.
Number one for Rand is I'm the Walrus. Of course, that doesn't surprise me. Oh, see, I always go to Stephen Schnee for all my California information. So, there you go. So it's still around. But I remember Dave Crosby wrote Renaissance Fair because he was saying how run down the Renaissance Fair that they did every year was becoming. So that's kind of what it was about. I don't know. They were in England. Who was in England? Renaissance Fair's happening soon. Number 2 for Rand Kelly is Strawberry Fields. 2 Beatles tracks. He's Beatle heavy. Brian McDonovan. Rand coming in number 3, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. You think we were doing a damn Beatles show here?
We're doing our 10 favorite songs from 1967 that were recorded by the Beatles. Yes.
Day in the Life, Purple Haze, Third Stone from the Sun. I should wait and we could get Rand synced up with our lists. Tales of Brave Ulysses, yes. See, there's so many great tracks.
Rand,
Okay,
you're in my head.
yeah. Rand does that. I'm getting
He
rid of Rand.
does.
It's disturbing. Oh, September 71, Brian McFadden. All right. So anyway, Doors Light My Fire. I'm not sure what number that was.
That was number 7.
7. All right. So what's yours?
Okay, well, my number 7 was Let's Live for Today, but my number 6 was also a huge single. This band, also known more as a singles band, and they had wonderful vocals, and they kind of nice, Rich. They
That's a
had
good one.
they made a lot of good singles, and they didn't sound the same. They all had something different about them, and all I have to say is Felix Cavalier, and I'm talking about the Rascals.
That's a good one.
And the song I am going with is How Can I Be Sure? In a world that's constantly changing. What a wonderful song. I love the instrumentation. I love the production on this is fantastic. I love the vocal. I love when after they do the solo and then they raise it up another step in the how's the weather, that line there.
Yep.
I love you forever. And then they go into that ding ding with the piano, and then they go right back into the first lines of the song. Because how can I be sure is the first words you get.
Yeah.
It was like She Loves You. They started out with that, same thing, but totally different song. But yeah, there was again. I was also looking at Beautiful Morning, but I saw that came out in '68. So, but How Can I Be Sure is my number 6 by the Rascals or the Young Rascals, or you ever want to call them. They were great. I got to see them.
You did? Recently?
Well, yes. 7 years ago.
Oh.
I saw Felix Cavalier's Rascals. And they're touring right now. Felix and another member of the band whose name escapes me. If any one of you can come up, tell us who it is here in the live chat, that would be wonderful. And I agree with you completely, DC. Well crafted singles, well produced. No doubt about it.
I'm going to get a little bit geeky. So I know you showed me that Rascals comp. Do you remember the Rascals comp that came out in the 80s on CD? The Ultimate Rascals. There was 2 covers. There's the ugly cover, and then there's the cover that's got the band's heads.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to bring it up. You guys
yeah.
have to see this.
Yeah, bring that up. Yeah, I'm not great on covers, and this is the only Rascals I own. And
I'm going to recommend
I learned this on piano. I learned How Can I Be Sure? Well, most of it on piano. That's why I bought the CD. This was quite a while ago.
Okay. Okay, this is okay. Sorry, this disrupts the whole show, but that's I've got to talk.
That's what we do on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Yeah, well, we're loose.
Well, not disrupt, but we're all over the place.
Okay.
Well, when I'm on, anyway.
So, okay, come on. Where is it? Where did it save it to? Well, there it is. It took a while for it to show up. All right. This is okay. If you're if you want to get into the Young Rascals, look for this CD. Let me get rid of this. DC's in the middle. All right. So it's rock and roll classics and digital. This was like one of the first Rascals comps that come out. They call this the ugly cover because look at it. Horrible. Okay.
Yes.
Later, they put a cover that still says this up here where it says rock and roll classics and digital, but they put the band on the cover. The one you want to look for is this one. And if you go out and look in the CDs, look for one that says Made in Japan, because all those came off the master tapes, flat transfers, and they're all stereo. On the other ones, there are a lot of mono, and the stereo on those Rascals tracks were very wide. It's just like unbelievable.
Hmm.
But that first collection is all flat transfers. It not futzed with. It sounds
Nice.
absolutely stunning. But the second pressing where the faces are on it, they got rid of some of those stereo tracks and replaced them with mono. And there's like there might be noise reduction on it. I'm not sure.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
first one you can hear tape hissed. You know exactly what the master tapes sound like. I'm just throwing that out there because I love to educate people.
Absolutely.
I'm so full of shit. But anyway, it is really a nice CD. So if you ever see it in the wild, pick it up.
Absolutely.
It's very, very nice. All right, let's get caught up here because we have. Oh my God. Rand, number 5 by Jimi Hendrix. Number 8, I mean. Number 9's Interstellar Overdrive. Say that really fast. Number 10 is See Emily Play. Yeah. See Emily Play that low, Rand? Disappointed. Ian Gillan and Roger Glover, 1967. Morning Dew. Not familiar.
Oh, the off done Morning Dew.
Episode 6. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Brian McFadden waving to Rand Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Where else are you going to get this kind of guidance in your music purchases? Well, Steve Hoffman forums, pretty much. That's where I've learned everything.
Cool.
Over 1,000 years, but I know what CDs sound good as far as, and it does. That CD is the Made in Japan one. Absolutely. I mean, it was domestic, but it says the disc was pressed in Japan. That's the one you want.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for your education. I didn't know.
Yeah, because I don't know some of this stuff. Okay, let's go to the next one since I've diverted the whole discussion.
It's all good. Number 6.
Number 6. Now I have to look at my list because I have to mention this. Oh, this is going to be hard. I haven't mentioned any Beatles, and I guess I'm probably going to mention Beatles. I'm thinking I'm going to go with. Oh, let's get rid of this. I think I'm going to go with Jefferson Airplane, Somebody to Love. Surrealistic Pillow, 1967. 2 different versions. You know, the mono mix has a lot less reverb. Right. Stereo mix, they just jam-pack the reverb on it. I think personally I like the mono mix better for this record. It's not quite as but there's still something about it. I keep going back to this certain tonality from the 60s. And this has it. I don't know. It must be the reverb, the echo chambers that they used back in the day. I don't know. You can tell this isn't digital reverb, folks. This is analog reverb. But there's something about it. The songwriting. Darby Slick, which was Grace's brother-in-law, wrote the song. She brought it over from Great Society.
Yes.
Totally changed the Jefferson Airplane. Incredible. How did this perform on the charts, you ask? Well, here it got up to number 5. That is quite a feat. This is like their first big hit. And then everything after that, I'm not sure if they ever had a hit like Somebody to Love ever like that. Because think about Jefferson Airplane. They're kind of underground then. We might look at them now like they're kind of tame, but probably back in the day, they were kind of, this is pretty far out there, you know?
Yes, and they had another huge hit off this album as well. I think it hit number 9.
White Rabbit, yeah.
Yes.
I could have mentioned that too.
That was very close for me. That was the one I had to leave out, was White Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
But
I could have chosen White Rabbit, but I still think this is more of an iconic song. I mean, think about it. 1967, you cannot not talk about it for 1967. It was just it still sounds great, you know?
Absolutely.
So I'm including it, you know. I've got some rarities, but, you know, I have to mention Surrealistic Pillow and Somebody to Love. All right. John, what you got? What's next?
All right. Now I'm going to go with an album track, but this is a very popular album. And you'll guess this pretty fast. It was a trio, all fantastic musicians.
Oh, I know where
My
you're going.
personal favorite drummer. And they made 3 studio albums. Well, the third one was a half studio, half live. It was a 2-record set.
Mm-hmm.
But this is off album number 2. This is Cream. This is Disraeli Gears. Sorry for the glare, everyone, but I'm not going to go with the hit. I'm going to go with a song called Swabber, which stands for She Was Like a Bearded Rainbow. This song is excellent. I think if they wanted to release this as a single, it could have worked. It was 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Jack Bruce's vocal on this is wonderful. Great drum fills here from Ginger. Very melodic. This is a very well loved album for me, and I've loved this since I picked it up on cassette in high school. And yes, I was thinking about Sunshine of Your Love, and I've heard it many times. It's been in movies and all that, but I've always loved She Was Like a Bearded Rainbow, and Tales of Brave Ulysses was pretty close for me too.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'm going to go with She Was Like a Bearded Rainbow by Cream off of Disraeli Gears as my number 5.
There you go. That's a good one.
Thank
I
you.
can't argue with that. Oh boy, more and more. Oh my God. Whoa, I didn't expect that chestnut. Inspired Cream
Thank
choice,
you.
John.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, DC Toon Time.
Rich, I love We're Going Wrong.
Oh, I do too. Oh, thanks, guys.
Rolling Stones Beggar Banquet 60. No, that's 68.
68.
I think.
Yes, sir. 68.
Yeah. I think Brian's got a double greatest hits album from 72, the same year I was born. What, a Cream? They might have had a double record set. Or the Doors. What are we talking about?
Or the Rolling Stones Hot Rocks. Does that hit?
That's about 72 or yeah.
Yeah, that hit 64 to 71. I picked that up for my dad on cassette way back in the day. So
excellent.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy, let's see.
Number 5.
I'm thinking iconic. Well, I'm going to say something. Yeah, I'm going to mention this because I think this song is absolutely. Yes, we have to mention this. Okay, here we go. I'm going with the Turtles, Happy Together, that came out on White Whale 1967. This was a big hit for the band. It got to what? Holy crap.
Number 1.
It got to number 1. I mean, this really put the Turtles on the map. You know, if you've ever noticed anything about the Turtles, they never made any money. Their managers ripped them off, and there's a video with Howard Kalin and Mark Volman where they're talking about all the managers they have. Go out on YouTube and check it out. The Turtles were doomed. They had poor management forever. White Whale ripped them off, but this hit absolutely wonderful. You've got Chip Douglas producing on this record. So Chip was the bass player in the Turtles, and he went to produce the Monkees headquarters after this. The Monkees brought him over, but his production is great. I could have picked other songs off of this record. Let me just mention a couple of things as I'm scrolling. Yeah, this came out in 67. Chip Douglas also produced the Battle of the Bands album, which was a lot more experimental, the record after this. This I kind of look at as their peak to me, because there are other tracks on here that I think could have been hits. Everything gelled. Absolutely wonderful record. And everybody's heard Happy Together. It's iconic. How could I not mention Happy Together in 1960? We're in 1967, folks. How could I not mention it? So I'm mentioning it. So that's my pick.
Excellent. And I think that
Oh,
the
look at all this.
Turtles,
I cannot keep up with the chat. Go ahead,
Flo and Eddie
John.
are making their money back now, though, with the Happy Together tour, which comes out every summer. Have you ever seen the Happy Together tour, Grant?
They go out every year. I've never seen that though.
It's fun. I've seen it twice. They'll bring out a whole bunch of acts from the '60s, and they'll have this great backing band behind them. And the end will always be Flo and Eddie from the Turtles, but it's their tour. But they'll
Mhm.
bring out the Association, who still have two original members.
Yeah, I like
They'll bring
them.
out Chuck Negron from Three Dog Night. One time I saw it, the first time I saw it, they actually had Ron Dante from the Archies. But every
That's
year
cool.
yeah, it's a cool show. They'll come out and they'll do about three songs. The Cowsills usually play it too, and there's still three of them in the band. Three of the original Cowsills. They were family. But yeah, that's fun to see. But I'm thinking that Flo and Eddie, they learn after getting screwed off. Well, we're gonna make the money now, and they go out and they do a tour every. Usually they play in the summer up this way. But yeah, it's always. If you've never seen the show, definitely check it out. It's just a great show.
I doubt they play any Mother's material, but do
They
they?
do not. They don't. They don't. They just play Turtles material. It'll
Yeah.
be it. They each band will do like three or four of their big hits.
Howard Kalin's book is excellent. You know, the fact that John brought up this topic to talk about 1967 makes me reevaluate things because I really loved the 60s a lot. That's really my favorite era. And I haven't really covered that much of it. And I'm thinking I'm going to start doing a lot more 60s stuff. Look at these bands. Look at the Turtles. Look at more Beach. Well, we do have a Beach Boys series on the channel, so I guess that counts. But in fact, the Beach Boys series will be back in May and we'll be looking at that. But I'm going to start getting more 60s stuff. There's a lot of great 60s stuff that no one talks about or could
Absolutely.
be brought up again before it's forgotten about. We're never going to run out of any topics on this channel. I'm just
Nope.
telling you. But I would love to do like a turtle series and look at those records, look at like a couple of those records and talk about it. They're
Sweet.
so freaking good. They were so great. But anyway, I'm rambling like I always do. Um, Chuck Negron's book is good. I've never, yeah, didn't he do like a lot of heroin?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's like Mr. Party. It's like it's a wonder he's alive.
Well, there's a reason he isn't with Three Dog Night anymore. I mean, they after a while they just had to part ways.
Mm-hmm.
He sang the lead on Joy to the World, one of the three number one songs by Three Dog Night. But we're talking about '67, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to my number four. All right, this
God,
will be my last.
I hope I've got this tallied right. Okay.
Okay, my last deep cut, ladies and gentlemen. This
Okay.
is my favorite album from 1967, and as a matter of fact, this is probably still my favorite debut album of all time. And there were a lot of great debut albums in 1967. One that I just talked about at
Mm-hmm.
the Velvet Underground and Nico. But this was a band that, unfortunately, they were a victim of overhype and a few other things. But what talent in this band, and what an amazing album by Moby Grape.
Holy crap. All right. What version of that? CD is that? Is that the Sunday CD?
It's is it it doesn't I've owned this for over 20 years. Oh
Okay.
geez.
Probably not the Sunday CD.
San Francisco Sound?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what's
it.
his name? Who was their manager? Katz, Matthew
Matthew
Katz.
Katz.
Yeah.
Matthew Katz.
He originally he was the original manager for Jefferson Airplane too, and they got rid of him and was ripping off people. He ripped off Moby Grape big time.
Yes, definitely. Now, this band here, I was talking about overhype. They released 5 singles from this album simultaneously in 1967. What a bad business move.
Well, that's Columbia Records for you. They thought that they had something, and they're just going to market the hell out of them, and that did that band in pretty much.
It did. It did, along with Skip Spence going after, was it Jerry Stevenson in the band?
Well,
He went
Skip
after
was
him
a
with
little Skip was a bit unstable. Let's say that.
right. Well, he went after him with a fire axe, but I mentioned 5 singles. Yeah, there you go. Yes, they certainly did, Brian. The song I'm going with is the only one that charted, and it went to number 88 on the Billboard Hot 100, and that song is, well, hey, this one's for you there, Byron Bolt.
Oh,
Omaha.
it's a great song.
Omaha.
That's a Skip Spence song.
Yeah, that's so much joy and fury on that song. So much great call and response between between Skip and the backing vocals. They're going back and forth on that.
Yeah.
There's 3 guitars going here at the same time, all playing something different, but it works perfectly together. This is a wonderful track and very exciting song. I think this could have been a hit.
But I think it could have been a hit.
Yeah, but it was just the bad marketing that happened with them and the overhype. I think that really did them in. I mean, there were a lot of singles on here that could have been hits, but Omaha is just. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, did any of those? Okay, they've released all those singles at once. Did any of those singles ever take off and chart? Do you know? I don't think they did.
Omaha was the only one. I mean,
Omaha was the only one,
and it hit 88. Like the rest of them didn't hit the top 100.
Okay.
And but Hey Grandma was great. Fall on You was a great single. That could have been a huge hit in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Well, have you heard the Move version of Hey Grandma?
I have not.
Roy Wood, Mark and I probably talked about that on the Move discussion that we had like a month ago.
Okay.
But Hey Grandma, they did a cover version of it. They thought the Moby Grape was great, and they covered it, and that was early. That must have been in 67 as well when they did that. I suggest you to just, if you like Hey Grandma, go out and check the Moves version of Hey Grandma.
Nice.
I'm sure it's on YouTube, but
Excellent.
It's great too. Their interpretations, it's not that much different, John, but I think you'll like it.
Sweet. Well, they would have that added. Well, they used a lot of piano in their sound, so I'm thinking that would add something to it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you've never heard this album, definitely check this one out. I mean, this album kind of gets lost in the shuffle of great albums from '67, but yeah, definitely check this out. It is expensive to buy a new one of these now. Fortunately, I picked this up quite a few years ago, but yeah, my number 5 is Omaha by Moby. I'm sorry, my number 4 is Omaha by Moby Grape. Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap. We're getting down to where it's going to be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I need to mention this track because I don't know if it's what. So this will be my number. This would be number 4. Okay. This is really tough, John. But
yeah,
I think this song needs mention because it is iconic. Was it a huge hit? No. But this is one of those 60s bands that were very influential on other artists. From this band, it splintered off into the Faces. It splintered off into Humble Pie. Splintered off from Humble Pie to Peter Frampton's solo and Steve Marriott. We're going to go with the Small Faces, Itchy Coo Park.
Nice.
That came out on Immediate in 1967.
Excellent.
Came out on There Are But 4 Small Faces. Oh, all the Small Faces stuff. Even this record, once they got on Immediate, see, prior to this, they were on Decca. And they were much more of a, how do I want to describe them? the Decca stuff's great, but once they hit like 1967 and got a little bit more of the psychedelia thing going, these guys took it to yet another level. I think the songwriting, the production, it screams 1967. And then the next record after this, Ogden's Nut Gone Flake, which is a masterpiece.
Nice.
But this, as a single, Steve Marriott's vocals, you've got the keyboards of Ian McLaughlin, absolutely brilliant organ player.
Absolutely.
This is just a great song, It still stands up. Another track on here that was great was Tin Soldier. I love the Small Faces, one of my favorite 60s groups.
Sweet.
Even when Steve Marriott left his form Humble Pie, and they got Rod Stewart in there,
yes.
and Ronnie Wood. I mean, holy crap, that was a great band too. But
no question.
This band, the Small Faces, it's a different animal, But my God, what a great single, and I could not mention it. So that would be my number 4.
Nice.
It's gonna get really hard because I have extras. Oh boy! All right. Well, let's look at some comments because the comments are yet building up again.
Sweet.
Okay. Here we go. Oh my God. Then there's Counting Crows song, Omaha. There's a different one.
Somewhere in Middle America.
Lots of Government Mule. Brian, what are you talking about? Did Soundboard and Lights in Massachusetts. All right. Finally. I'm not what? Finally? Oh, Small Faces. Great choice. Thanks, DC. Wait a minute. I'd go Tin Soldier, but your choice is great. You can't go wrong with nearly anything on the record. There's not a weak track on this record or the record that came out after. Absolutely 2 classic 60s records. No filler. None. No filler. Brilliant. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
Boy, what more can I say? The reason mine were so Beatle heavy in the beginning is because they were the only records I had at the time. That's good. Rand was 15 in 1967.
Yeah, I was a glimmer in my parents' eyes in 1967.
Yeah, like 2. 1. The Association. Yeah, I love The Association. Blue Murder covered Itchy Cook Park. Pretty cool. I don't know if
Quiet Riot did too. On might have been the Down to the Bone album, I believe they did it. 95, 96.
That Small Faces track is known for being one of the first to use tape flanging as an effect. Nice. Sean Barnes, thank you. That is
Absolutely.
true.
Thanks, Sean.
It's very cutting edge. And I think who was the engineer on that? Was it Glenn Johns? Wasn't Glenn Johns the engineer on this stuff? God, someone leaving a comment. I could look. If I only had a way to look it up, I would. But someone may know. Batman 45-6. I have no idea. Catch up, Rand, for God's sakes, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
Just giving you crap. Okay, so that was Itchy Cook Park. Great track. I'm going to throw it over to John the Music Nut. What's your next one?
Okay, well, this was Grant's number 7. Doors, Light My Fire. There's no way I could.
I totally get it.
Yeah, there's no way I couldn't put this in there. I mean, this song.
It deserves to be up higher.
Yes. Yeah, it's just so iconic. I mean, and I was thinking about the end. I was thinking about Break On Through. No, you got to
Light My Fire. You can't. And remember you ever seen the video like the Ed Sullivan show where
we don't want you to say higher. Can you say girl, can you make it much better?
But think about it.
A
You look
quote
at
in the
the
movie there too.
Doors back then. You look at them on Ed Sullivan. They just look dangerous to me.
They did look dangerous. Oh my
Jim
god. Well, they
Morrison wearing his leather pants. 1967, kids. I
and
mean,
that wonderful mane of hair too.
so Rand, who was 15, what would your take of the Doors and Light My Fire back then? I mean, did you look at Jim Morrison when you were like a kid and go, "Holy crap, this is
Yeah.
uh, this is
This
something else"?
and
I
this
don't
is an
know.
album of riches too, and this is another fantastic debut. Not my favorite Doors album, but it is excellent. Yes, sir.
Episode 6 is he okay? He's catching up. Yeah,
I gotta check out this episode 6.
yeah, I guess so. Top of the pops. All
That's
right.
true.
What number are we at? 2?
3.
3. Shit. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have some honorable mentions, but now we're
Me
gonna
too.
God, 1960. Okay. All right. This should be no, I think I know what my number one is. I don't think yes, okay. All right, here we go. And I never talk about the Beatles, but we're talking about the Beatles. I'm gonna go with my number three is gonna be the Beatles, A Day in the Life. Came off of Sergeant Pepper, 1967, of course, because that's what we're talking about. It's 1967. Is this the greatest track on Pepper? Possibly. A true collaboration between Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Absolutely adventurous, creative. What they did with a 4-track machine, unbelievable. Obviously, never be another album like Sergeant Pepper. They took technology to the the edge. Absolutely brilliant. It's a wonderful sounding record. Uh, Everybody should know A Day in a Life. I mean, what can I say about Day in a Life? It's one of those tracks that screams 1967. It's iconic. It's the freaking Beatles. What can I say? It's the
Absolutely.
greatest ever. Never be anything like it. But think about this. I know we're talking about 67, but creativity wise, think about it wasn't that long ago that rock and roll wasn't that long ago. We had Chuck Berry.
Right.
We had Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison doing their thing. We're in 1967. 1957 was 10 years ago, and look how far music had come. And if it wasn't for the Beatles pushing the envelope, we wouldn't be where we are today, which is in the shithole. But what I'm trying to say is that can you imagine how fast things were happening and growing and the creativity? You'll never see anything like 1966, 1967 ever again. Never. Never. It's just unbelievable. It's two of the best years ever, I think, in music. And Day in a Life is just one of those iconic tracks that will forever be a total classic. But what Beatles material isn't a classic? But I have to throw the Beatles in here because you cannot not look at 67 without looking at Sergeant Pepper. So there you go. This could be higher. It could be lower. It should be higher probably. But that's my number three.
Well, that is a fantastic choice, and there's a real reason I'm smiling right
Okay.
now.
Glenn Johns was the engineer in Hitchy so I knew I was
Uh,
probably right. Just
you
made
bring it,
sense.
Nick.
Freaking Nick. If I need something looked up, I'll just turn it over to Nick.
Nick Squire's the man.
There you go. BM Bold. Listen to Jeff Beck's version of Day in a Life, which is incredible. Honorable mention from Rand Anthony Kelly. White Rabbit. I see that. Uh-oh, here we go. As a wee lad, Sergeant Pepper confused young DC. I was used to 2 guitars, a bass, and drums. But of course, now I realize its magnificence. But as a young boy, it confused him. When I first, my gateway drug to the Beatles was I already told that story, but my first Beatles record was Beatles 62 to 66. So
Okay.
I was on board. My second record was Magical Mystery Tour. So I'm good with all the experimental stuff. I totally got it. I was all into it. Rand would like to mention the Crystal Ship. Thank you, Rand.
Excellent track.
We've got a 16-year-old Alex Chilton singing the letter in 1967. Yeah,
Kind
doesn't
of
get.
kicking myself for not putting that one in my list. That's a fantastic song.
It's fantastic. Even the Beach Boys version of it that was on Wild Honey. Well, no, it was recorded during Wild Honey. It came out. It was on bootlegs and stuff. No, was it on Wild Honey?
I don't know her catalog all that well. I'm not
I
sure.
don't remember. Where's Davy at? For God's sakes. Um, I can't remember. But the Beach Boys did a version of the letter, and it's just as great, damn near just as great as the version of the box tops. But yeah, that's a good one.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful love album for 34. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a great record. So many deeper tracks. God, you are so right. All right. Well,
But
okay. Let me get rid of
well,
that.
we gotta continue the Beatles love
Okay.
because A Day in the Life is my number two.
Oh, well then, my God, let's throw it up there then.
There we go.
There you go. Now I have a graphic for you.
Yep. This is my number two. This was my first Beatles cassette. I bought this. I think I bought it on my 16th birthday. So talking a long time ago. But yeah, this is a yeah, I'm up there too, guys. But anyway, yeah, again, uh, an album full of riches. I mean, I could have went with Lovely Rita or
Oh
Getting
God.
Better,
Oh my, anything off of it.
Lucy in the Sky
Anything.
with Diamonds. I mean, oh my gosh, yes. But Day in the Life is just a tour de force.
Mhm.
I mean, the production, and again, like you said, Grant. I mean, how things had really moved forward from 57 to 67.
Isn't it amazing?
Especially, yeah, especially if you go with the Beatles' early albums from like 64 to 67. What a quantum leap we've never seen
No,
since then.
we'll never see it again. Of
No,
course, you
I
know how
mean,
music. Well, I can't. Well, God, we're not even gonna. Yeah, there's good stuff out there,
there
but
is
the infrastructure. There's no backing it. There's no promotion. There's no marketing. There's no record company behind anything anymore to
correct.
produce to get it out into the market. You know, these bands used to be rock stars. I mean, when I was a kid, I could hardly wait for the new I would hardly wait for the new Utopia album or the new Todd Rundgren album come out
Right,
or the new Styx album. I remember when Pieces of Eight came out when I was a kid, I was totally those are rocks. There are no rock stars now. The rock stars now are
no,
are games, so
they
to
are.
speak. It's a
Yeah,
sad world we live in. And I'm just glad I was raised when I did because it was a magical period to be a kid in the 70s and a kid in the 80s. God, could you imagine like Rand,
yeah.
15 in 1967, going,
Oh my
being
gosh.
there with, being there at the same time the Beatles? I mean, what can I say? It just must have been something. I just can't even imagine.
No
I'm
doubt
just
about it.
lucky that I discovered the Beatles when I was 10. But anyway, I go on a rant, but it is what it
Oh,
is.
good.
So, John, do you have anything more to add about A Day in a Life?
Just, I mean, what I mean, it was just so far ahead of its time, and you still listen to it 56 years later,
Hmm.
and it still sounds amazing as any. I mean, I know that there have been bands who've done some brilliant songs since then, brilliant albums, of course, but does anything really compare to A Day in the Life? Well, I mean, I got one more song to do here, but that just resonates with me a little bit more, as
Hmm.
much as I love this track. But yes, I mean, again, a band that what a fantastic album. Not quite my favorite because there's just ones that resonate with me a little more. My favorite's Abbey Road, but um, yeah, Day in the Life is just an amazing song.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Day in a Life hits all on fronts musically, lyrically, attention to detail and emotion. Well put, DC. Holy
yes.
mac. I need to get DC on a show. He's already been on a show. You showed me by the Turtles may be the first recorded Moog synthesizer on a pop record. Not sure if that was 67. What about the Monkeys? The Monkeys. That was 67.
It's a great song you showed me too.
You showed me when did you show me come out? Come on, Rand. I need data. It's all producers and DJs. Really, Ernesto?
Yeah,
Is it?
he's right. Yeah, more and more every year. That's what I've heard about. A lot of festivals are going that way. It's a shame.
That breaks my heart, Ernesto. Of course, I can't imagine the young people today are questionable. Where were you when Wings released a new album? Where were you for Meatloaf Bad Out of Hell?
Well, that was
Well,
77.
I waited for Wings. I remember when, I remember when Wings at the Speed of Sound came out because I loved Wings as much as I liked the Beatles stuff then. Now I still like it, but the Beatles are on a different level. But I remember when those come out. Meatloaf Bad Out of Hell, I never was really much into that. I appreciate the Todd Rundgren production and all that, but
Right.
I don't know. It seemed very Bruce Springsteen to me, and I'm not a big Bruce fan. The Sunbeam commercial.
I remember that.
Brian, you've got tons of stuff. You need to do a show on just your stuff. So there you go, Beatles. So what are we down to now that I've now just well, this is going to be impossible. I know what number 1 is, but now my number 2 this I'm looking at it. My list is all screwed up, kids, but I think I'm going to mention this because I love this still. And I'm going to go, okay, now I'm going with the original US tower pressing of this.
Okay.
So in the USA, on the first Pink Floyd album, they put See Emily Play on there. So, which I totally could see Emily Play fitting on Piper. So I had to have a graphic, so I'm putting it on the first record. But as a single, See Emily Play, Syd Barrett's vocals. I mean, there's one thing about I have to give to Pink Floyd is that for them to be so adventurous and so artistic and so out there,
Early.
those early singles were just Pink. Just Syd Barrett was just a machine. Even his solo albums,
Oh my gosh.
Octopus. I love all that stuff.
Madcap Laughs.
Love it.
Barrett. Great albums.
But See Emily Play screams 1967, and it's just a psychedelic masterpiece. It's up there with Incense and Peppermints. It's just a must. I mean, I still can listen to See Emily Play and never get tired of it. Is it really a number 2? I don't know. This is one of the hardest rankings I've ever had to do. And like I said, it could change tomorrow. But See Emily Play is for 1967, it's up there. I will say that. But I guess I'm going to go with that because I'm running out of choices. All right, John, what's yours?
Okay, in coming up with a list today, I was like, I can't believe I never bought this on CD, but I guess I have to rectify that very soon. There we go.
Right. That's it. Tune in 7 p.m. next Wednesday.
There we go. So I only have the cassette here that I've had forever. And there you go. Sweet. But
There you go.
this
Brian's
song,
all over it tonight.
yeah, this song here was originally not a hit single when it was released as a single in 1967. I believe it was only went up to number 93 on the Billboard Top 100.
Yeah.
But later on, after the band had really made it, and they did have a top 10 hit in 1965 with a different singer.
Hmm.
This band really took off. They took off with this album, but there was a different single released. And one of you kind souls talked about it earlier on. You put it in the chat here. So the name of the band is the Moody Blues. The album is Days of Future Past, and the song is Nights in White Satin.
Whoa, that's your number one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This
Okay.
song
I
has
love it.
it's always grabbed me, especially the long version with Mike Pinder's spoken
Yeah.
part at the end. This, I mean, it was. I heard it all the time when I was a kid on Saturday Night Live at the Oldies
Hmm.
on KRZ FM out of Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Station still exists, but Saturday Night at the Oldies doesn't. But I remember always hearing this every Saturday night when I was 12, 13 years old. And I bought the cassette, and I loved it. I loved this album. And Rand mentioned Peak Hour. That's probably the heaviest song on the album. But Nice and White Satin. I mean, I've always loved that track.
Yeah. Who
I
doesn't?
saw them play it live too. Saw them in '94 when they still had when Graham Edge was still alive and Ray Thomas was still alive. So that was a great show. Thank you so much, Nick. But yeah, definitely got to pick this up on CD. I do have In Search of Lost Chord.
Well, if you're going to get it on CD, let me recommend something.
Surely.
Those original first, when those came out in the 80s, all those sound phenomenal. I mean, Mobile Fidelity even did a version of it, and it damn near sounds identical to what those original Threshold CDs in the 80s.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go out of your way to spend a lot because all of them sound wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grant.
Yeah, I'm always here for tips.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you don't need to spend money like on the MoFi or anything. Just pick up one of the original ones.
And that's usually how I go anyway. I don't need the 180 gram vinyl or I mean I do like box sets so I can get bonus tracks and live tracks.
Well,
stuff like that.
The reissues, I've got some of those too. It just depends on how deep of a fan you are,
Right.
But even the remasters that came out, they had some of them that had 2 CD sets or right. Or they had a lot of bonus tracks. And then they put them out again without bonus tracks. Those sound pretty good too. I don't have a problem. But what I'm trying to say is that the Moody Blues catalog never needed remastering. Is that, remastering to some degree is a bunch of bullshit. It's just to make more money.
Of course.
A lot of those 80s CDs weren't futzed with, but they really did the Moody Blues right because those original 80s CDs sounds good.
Sweet.
Holy crap.
Excellent.
Here we go. More. Hey, Thomas.
Thomas.
I don't know Thomas, or do I know Thomas? Thanks for coming.
Thomas, he comments on a lot of the shows from the Contrarians and the channels that come off the Contrarians.
Maybe Thomas I know Thomas. I just don't know.
Yeah, he knows the stuff.
Well, Thomas, thanks for making a comment. There was so much that year. I think my favorite was Soul Man by Sam and Dave. Yeah, we didn't hit any soul. That would be like a separate show. Our favorite soul singers of 67. The brain trust on Grant's Rock Warehouse will never steer you wrong.
Ain't that
won't.
The truth?
You know what? I have so much worthless information. This is the only place that I can come and discuss anything because no one cares. It's just worthless information. If I can't go on the Contrarians or come on here and talk about something, it's just sitting there.
I'm like that too.
This is where we go to talk and shoot the shit.
No doubt about it.
So, Night in White Satin. Well, my number one. I have other ones we need to mention. So where are we on? We're 119. This is taking a lot longer than I thought. I'm going to have to go with this little ditty This was started in late 66. I mean, this predates Pepper, but this is where Pepper began. And I'm going to
Oh
go
yeah.
Strawberry Fields Forever's my number one 1967 track. Of course, Capitol Records repackaged it. You know how they used to pad their Capitol Records. They tried to get more mileage to the gallon out of the Beatles.
No doubt.
And they used put the 45, the single, on Magical Mystery Tour. And you must admit, if you're a Beatles fan, what Capitol did with Magical Mystery Tour was absolutely brilliant. The tracks that they chose for side 2, it made such a wonderful record that, when Parlophone or EMI started to put out the Beatles stuff, they used the US version of Magical Mystery Tour and made it the standard issue. So it's the standard version of Magical Mystery Tour. That just goes to show you how great a job the Capitol did. But yeah, Magical Mystery Tour, that and Pepper for 2 albums in 67. You show me something stronger than these 2 records. Just, I don't think there is anything. But Strawberry Fields Forever would be my number one choice, I think. It could change. But for today, it's my number one. So, and everybody should know that track. If you don't,
you can't argue that one.
You might be like one of these Generation Z people.
Right.
But anyway, do you have any other things you would want to mention real quick? Do you have any extras, or
no
we have a couple minutes?
No props, but I'll rattle a few off right now. I'll rattle some off that none of us have mentioned in between us and between all of you that have been on the chat. And thank you all so much. This is great.
Sure.
Expressway to Your Heart by the
Soul Survivors. Hold on, John.
Okay.
Hold on. We've got something from Byron. Get your Grand Funk talk on Grant's Rock Warehouse. No way in hell are we going to talk Grand Funk on this show. I ran out of CD room. Oh, all right. All right. Go ahead, John. Sorry. I can't believe that I even put that message up from Byron, but I did. Grand Funk. God.
I'll rattle these off.
Yeah.
And I'll only say ones we haven't mentioned. Expressway to Your Heart, Soul Survivors. Fantastic track.
Good. Fantastic.
Song that I love because you hear it every Thanksgiving on Rock 107, our classic rock station. Alice's Restaurant Massacre by Arlo Guthrie.
God, was that 67?
It was 67.
How iconic. They used to play that every Thanksgiving, like on the radio.
They still do here.
They still do. I wonder if they still do that.
Yeah, at noon and at 7 p.m. They still do.
A classic. It is a classic.
Don't You Care by the Buckinghams.
Oh, great track.
This one was nearly in my top 10. Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks.
Oh my God.
That's a
wonderful.
Great one too.
Great record, boy. Oh, great Kinks album.
Rolling Stones, Ruby Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
The Tremolos, Here Comes My Baby. The Monkees, Pleasant Valley Sunday. Richie Havens, Handsome Johnny. The Cowsills, The Rain, The Park, and Other Things.
Another record from that era that just absolutely sounds mid-60s. The sound, I love the sound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God.
Absolutely.
What a great 45 that is.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie Wonder, 67. There you go.
There you go. Was that I Was Made to Love Her, maybe 67? Maybe.
Yes, because the Beach Boys did a version of that, and that's on Wild Honey. Sweet. Wild Honey came out in 67. So yes, I Was Made to Love Her, 67.
Hey, this was for our friend Daniel, also known as Bicyclelegs. Leonard Cohen, Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye, from Songs of Leonard Cohen. Here's my last one. Aaron Neville, Tell It Like It Is.
That's good.
Nice.
Honorable mention for me, I Can See for Miles the Who.
That's another great one.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Rich, because I was going to mention it. but I didn't mention it. But that was one that I had handy and came off the wonderful the Who Sellout album, which is one of my all-time favorite albums of
That's a grower.
1967.
That's a grower. That's an album I always liked, but now I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, I've
Great
always
album.
always loved it.
Nice.
The Hollies Carrie Ann from
Oh,
Evolution, 1967. Name me a catchier song, and that was written by the band. It wasn't a Graham Goldman song or anything, outside writer. Carrie Ann by the
was
Hollies.
on a carousel that year too?
I think so, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
Graham Goldman, though, I think.
Okay.
We got to mention some Jimmy, and everybody mentions Purple Haze, but
Yeah.
I thought I'd mention Little Wing. For one, the guitar work on it, you cannot. Oh my God, was on Axis Bold as Love. You've heard the Stevie Ray Vaughan rendition. Wonderful.
Oh,
but
yeah.
what a great tour de force. What a beautiful track.
Yeah.
I kind of look at Little Wing and Angel as kind of going hand in hand because they're both kind of similar, but I love that stuff. Love it.
They are.
But I did mention Happy Together.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to mention this. Okay, so I was going to mention Beach Boys Surf's Up. Now, yes, I know the Smile album was reissued later, but had it come out in 67, the song Surf's Up, absolute masterpiece. So, get out your reissue of the Beach Boys Smile that came out on Capitol and listen to Surf's Up. It was, I think Brian started recording that in late 66. He might have did some overdubs in 67. Was it finished? Was it not finished? I don't know. But check out the version that they put out. I'm putting it in with 1967 because, yeah, it should have came out in 67 and Smile should have been released. Absolutely brilliant. I'm looking, did I miss anything? Of course, I missed a ton of things, but
yeah. I
think that pretty much sums it up. The only thing I do want to throw out, this didn't come out in 1967, but we always like to throw this Tom Jones album. This is Tom Jones live at Caesar's Palace. And for anyone in the community, you couldn't put this record out anymore. You couldn't put an album cover like this out. And let's look at this real quick. Captain and Tennille, do that to me one more time. Come on, look at that. Look at the Captain and look at Tennille, for God's sakes.
Tony Tennille
has nothing to do with 1967.
She's probably still a beautiful woman.
She's probably still a beautiful woman. I think she's in her 80s.
That's okay.
Okay, here we go. Let's go through let's just look at some of the comments and we'll wrap this dog up.
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up at the hour and a half moment. So we got 2 minutes.
I didn't even put the comments on until now. I didn't click on it. I had it on private chat the whole time, so I didn't realize how many we had.
All right. It's just coming through.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
You're all bringing it. Thank you.
All right. So Rand said, I remember listening to my fair on AM radio and it was always the long version. Honorable mention, I Can See for Miles. Haha, that happened in my back. Okay. Brian, I don't know what he's talking about. BM Bolt, I would do a Grand Funk show with you if you want.
There you go.
Do a Grand Funk show on Rand's channel. I will not have Grand Funk grace my airwaves. AM radio in 1967 was awesome. Thanks, Thomas. It's great. I have it, the Cowsills. I don't have any Cowsills.
Me neither.
I know that I'm sure Schnee has Cowsills. I wouldn't even know where to start. Do you just need like a greatest hits? Is there a Cowsill album would that be a good gateway album to start listening to with them? I don't even know if anything's in print. I know Schnee knows about. I don't know. Schnee, if you're still on here, chime in. My backyard. Yeah, Carrie Ann is awesome. It is. It's beautiful. I was happy to substitute for your choice, Grant.
Nice.
Cowsills play free sold out concerts. Oh, we got a whole bunch of shit in here. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like
Bring
to
it
listen to more cow seals. I don't know what to get. They hold an audience for 1.5 hours.
When they do Happy Together tour, they're so entertaining on stage with their stories. They're great.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Okay. Here we go. Yes, a best of all is still available. Start with that. Thank you, Stephen Shee. You're the man. Okay.
You are the man. And by the way, Steven, I
Is
love
there
your
one
channel.
that you recommend? Is there a certain one you recommend? Put that in there. Ernesto, we've got 2 people wanting to do Grand Funk Show on Rand's channel, not mine. I don't have that, but a hits compilation. DC loves Grand. I don't care if DC likes Donnie and Marie. We're not doing Grand Funk over here. I'm more of a casual fan giving you crap. All right, Byron, it's okay. Great conversation, Grant and John, entertaining and informative. Grand Funk rules. I am for a Grand Funk show too. You guys have been drinking a lot of that Kool-Aid or something. I don't get it. I don't see the allure at all.
I like them, but they're not.
I
one of my
like
favorites.
American Band. I like Don Brewer's vocals. So give me a Don Brewer album. I don't know. I just don't get it. I think Todd was the only producer that knew what to do with them. I have the Jimi Hendrix remasters on Purple Records for the remastered from the Atlanta log tapes and scrubbed up. Well, what I've got are the original reprise CDs that are on DADC, the first issues that came out before they added no noise. I think those sound great. You have tape hiss, you've got it all. And for what I've learned, those are direct copies off the masters, not futzed with. That's what I want. I don't want any futzing. The Look of Love, Dusty Springfield. Yes.
Nice one.
Grand Funk Railroad and Bachman Turner Overdrive. I would do Bachman Turner Overdrive if people want to talk that. I love that Not Fragile album.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
I would do BTO if you guys want to do it. Okay, what's Steve say? Yes, okay, he did so. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. I still have to catch up. You could do a Cal Seal's Greatest Hits. The first album is where I would start. Okay. Smash those likes. Smash those likes. Yes, please leave a like. I'll send you pictures, Grant. I love it. Okay, the only Cal Seals comp available now is on those Millennium CDs usually are jacked up. Let me look in there must be something else. Oh God, not you two. Oh, I expected more out of
Mel
you.
Shaker is a great bass player though with Grand Funk. He's still there.
We did do a great. Well, I don't know if we did a great show. I like having John the Music Nut on because we just go to town.
Yeah,
we've got
much,
more.
Grant.
We've got more lined up. So
we do.
Up next, we're gonna look. We might do that live for the hell of it because I just like the whole idea of John and I going live. But we're gonna be doing the Georgia satellites. I'm gonna pick a day next week. We're gonna set it up. We were gonna do it tonight, but too much going on today. So we are going to do the Georgia satellites. No one's talking the Georgia satellites, but we are. Probably do it next week. I will get with John and we'll determine. I'll pick out a night. We'll do it because I really want to talk about it. No one's talking about it. Let's talk about it, and I think we'll do that one live because it's just more fun. Why not do it live? We won't be going an hour and a half though. But
we might. I love that band.
All right. So I think we covered 1967. We probably covered it poorly because we missed so much. You could do top 20, top 30 easy, but there's only so much time. So I want to thank John the Music Nut for coming on. I want to thank everybody who joined in the chat. It's been incredible. Holy crap. This is what makes it fun. It's not John and I up here talking. It's you coming on and
the whole community.
The community coming together to talk. That's what this is about. I have all this album deep dive. Live is awesome. Georgia Dan Baird. So well, yeah, Yeah, that's a
I
whole other
listened. I
thing.
listened to Dan Barrett's solo yesterday. DC Tune Time, no doubt about it. Dan Baird, great songwriter,
Well,
great.
I won't be covering Dan Baird, but I mean, you can give him a shout out when we do the show if you want to,
No
like,
doubt.
just briefly discuss it. We can do that. Okay. Show
No
me
doubt.
came out 68 was wrong. Damn it, Rand. When you're wrong, that really pisses me off. So I don't want any more. I don't want any wrong answers from you. Great discussion, presentation. Thanks for it, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sean.
Sean. I appreciate you coming on. Brian McFadden, great band. Georgia Satellites are my youth. Well,
mine too.
Okay, kids, we're going to do it next week.
Ah, yeah.
Again, please leave a like,
Thanks,
share
Brian.
this show. It's up. DC says Beard is funny. Texas, look at this. It's just I'm going to wear a Stetson. Again, John the Music Nut, thanks for coming on. We'll do Georgia Satellites. Everybody, thanks
you,
for
Brent.
leaving
Thanks,
a comment.
Guys.
It's all about you guys. We can't do it without you. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you on the next one. It's been fun.
Take care now,
all right,
guys.
man. Thanks. See you, everybody.
Yep. Good night.